about that. Good evening and welcome to the Step 1 course. Okay, well, what's it all about? Well, we're going to be learning Bridge. And first of all, could I congratulate you for making a quite extraordinary decision, which I suspect could well be life-changing by learning this game, because it does sound a bit dramatic, but Bridge does change an awful lot of people's lives. It really does. Why does it? Well, because I think it is the most intoxicating game in the world. I mean, I'm warning you, it is quite addictive. But what I have to say is that it's not something that, you know, you spend half an hour with your pal and then suddenly you can play the game. We're not learning Uno here. We are learning a serious game. I mean, there's about 1/3 billion people in the world who play Bridge on a regular basis. It's by far the most popular card game in the world. It's more than twice as popular as the next most popular card game. And they can't all be wrong. 1/3 billion people can't be wrong. And anyway, hopefully we're going to have some real fun learning it. The step system that was introduced to West Hants Bridge School was really because of, you know, when I learned or tried to relearn a number of years ago now, I got very frustrated that there didn't seem to be any great track to run on or a great sort of direction to any teaching. It was just kind of all very piecemeal. And so we developed this 6-step process where the Step 1 course and the Step 2 course really teaches you all about the bidding, which we will make sense to in a few minutes' time. And then the Step 3 course really deals with the actual card play, how to properly play the cards, and lots of techniques along the way. Now, if you want to progress to be, if you like, a proper Bridge player, something that can really impress people, then we can move on to the Step 4 course. And I think by the time you finish the Step 4 course, you can really count yourself a Bridge player, as long as you are reasonably competent in all the areas. We've then got Steps 5 and 6, which are really quite advanced. So please don't get sort of frightened by all this, because you really don't, arguably you don't need Step 4. Most Bridge players in this country wouldn't have a clue of a lot of the stuff on Step 4, but you certainly don't need 5 and 6 unless you're going to be playing quite competitively. So where do we start? It is quite you know, it's a challenge to know where to start to learn Bridge. But it is a game. I mean, just to try and explain the concept of it. First of all, you play with a partner, which, if you think about it, is very unusual in a game of cards. There aren't many card games where you've got a partner, and I think that's one of the big attractions to it. You really are working as a team, and the best Bridge pairs, the best Bridge players, are those that communicate and work as a team with their partner. So it's a very selfless game, really. Whereas games like poker, whatever, it's all about you, isn't it? It's you against the rest of the world. Bridge is all about really working as a team with someone, and I think that's you know, intoxicating once you know what you're doing. And what it is, the essence of the game, is that you get dealt some cards, your partner gets dealt some cards, and what you've got to do is find out how many tricks that you can make out of the 13 tricks on offer by not looking at each other's hands. And therefore, this is where the communication comes in, and this thing called the bidding system that we are going to be spending a lot of time looking at, which is how we are transmitting information to our partner about what's in our hand, what cards we've got, and we're finding out what cards our partner's got. Once we've got a good fix on that, then we can make a decision on how many tricks we feel we can win. And then you get points for making that number of tricks. If you fail to make the number of tricks that you've said you're going to make, then you give points away to your opponents, and that's sort of the essence of the game. So the first class, there's a lot of talking, the course becomes more and more and more participative, and I do try and involve people as best I can, but I'm sure you can imagine it's difficult to involve you too much when you don't know anything at the moment. So there we are. So the game is played round a table, but of course, strangely at the moment, the majority of bridge is not being played round a table, it's being played round a virtual table on these very, very clever bridge sites where you are sitting at a table, but it's not in your living room, it's in the great outdoors out there in the ether. But we are sitting round a table, whether it's virtual or not. And the way we tend to communicate in bridge, because there's all this amazing language which you're going to be learning. It is like learning a foreign language. We kind of communicate our position in the game by the compass points. And so you and your partner will either be sitting north-south, or you'll be sitting east-west. Now, when you're playing competitive bridge, if you go down to a bridge club to play, which probably scares the living daylights out of you, the thought of it, but I assure you it's lovely and it's very welcoming, bridge clubs, but you're not necessarily ready yet for that. What you do is you and your partner will be sitting at a table north-south, and then you will progress round the room as the evening goes on, playing against different people, and you will remain as north-south all the way through. And it's called duplicate bridge, which you may have heard of, but it works very well by just thinking of the compass points. So having a partner, it's interesting, isn't it? So there's you and your partner, and strangely enough, your opponents are also a pair as well. And it's played with a standard pack of cards. It's not like some card games where you have 2 packs of cards, it's just 1 pack of cards. I kind of hope all of you know what a pack of cards is. I'm not being funny there, but we have had people on the course who've never seen a pack of cards. I sent the notes out in advance, so I hope you've had a chance to look through it. But there are 52 cards in the pack, and there are 4 suits. 4 suits, and the 4 suits are spades, hearts, diamonds, and clubs, and therefore there's 52 cards in total, and so there's 13 spades cards, 13 hearts, 13 diamonds, and 13 clubs, and they are numbered from 2 of spades, 3 of spades, 4 of spades, 5 of spades, right the way up to the jack, queen, king, and ace. And the ace is the highest card of the lot, which beats all the lower ones and what have you. So I hope you're all okay with that. Now, in bridge, what is again unusual is that there is a hierarchy of suits. Why is there a hierarchy of suits? Well, it's all to do with the bidding process, and it will become very evident starting really next week, because we're going to get stuck into the bidding on week 2 of the course. Now, the hierarchy of the suits is as we are here. So spades is the highest ranking of the 4 suits, hearts, diamonds, clubs. It will become second nature to you very quickly, I assure you, to remember that. If you are struggling to remember it, one way is it's sort of reverse alphabetical order, really. So C, D, H, S is alphabetical order or reverse alphabetical order. So spades are higher than hearts, hearts is higher than diamonds, and diamonds is higher than clubs in the pecking order. But there is strangely another suit, but it's not a suit, which is called no trumps, which may seem very odd, and that is the highest ranking of the 5. And what does it mean? Well, when you decide how many tricks you think you're going to win with your partner, you decide, yes, how many tricks you're going to win, but you also make a decision on, are you going to play with a suit as trumps? And a trump is like a magic card. So if diamonds were trumps, it means that when the game starts, any diamond card is a sort of a very special card, and it can beat any other card in the pack. So your little 2 of diamonds would beat the ace of spades. And as in most card games, you can only use a trump card if you can't follow suit. But we'll be looking at all this later. So you make a decision on the contract. Do you play in a suit contract, as it's called, with one of these suits as trumps, or do you play in no trumps, meaning, partner, are we going to play this contract without any trumps at all? Now, why would you want to play the contract and try and make lots of tricks with no trumps? And the reason you would do it is that maybe you haven't got a suit which is dominant. There is no dominant suit. You haven't got lots of cards in that suit, so you choose to play in no trumps. So we'll be looking at some examples a bit later. So the hierarchy of suits. I'll come to you for any questions in a couple of minutes' time. The only other thing I would like to bring in at this point, just so that we've got the terminology going, we split it up in between what we call major suits and minor suits. And so, as you could probably gather, the two top ones are called major suits. Spades and hearts are majors. Diamonds and clubs are minors. Why the distinction? Why are these called majors and these are called minors? It's basically down to the scoring as well as the hierarchy here. If you're making tricks in diamonds or clubs as the suit, it doesn't score nearly as well as the major suits. And you'll hear the mantra from me all the time through the course that what we're trying to do in Bridge is really play our contracts in the major suits. Because if you're playing for money or you're playing competitively, that's where the money is, that's where the points are, by playing in the majors, or sometimes in no trumps, but we don't really want to play in the minors. So, okay, I appreciate there'll be a big red mist appearing over you at the moment, but any questions so far? Okay, so the aim of the game is to find the right contract. Yes, right, my partner and I are going to make 10 tricks, 10 out of the 13 tricks, and spades are going to be the trump suit. So that's our contract, spades, 10 tricks, which is called something else, which I'll talk about in a second. So that's what we're trying to do. How do we on earth, how do we know that we can win 10 tricks? How do we know that we want to play in spades? Because I can't see my partner's hand. And this is where the bidding process happens, where we start communicating by using this very, very clever system, which takes a little time to learn. So a trick, we know what that is. We know what the contract is, which is the number of tricks you're going to win, and whether it's no trumps or a suit contract. So what else do we need to know? Well, now this is where it gets interesting. So the bidding. The bidding is a way, as I say, of communicating to your partner what's in your hand. And you might decide to open the bidding by going 1 diamond. But that is a bid. Now, you can either play bridge by talking your bids, just go 1 diamond, or you can invest at some point in this, which is different types, but this is what they call a bidding box, which is where you can actually take out your bid. So if you're bidding 1 diamond, you bring out a card and place it solemnly on the table, and it means you have bid 1 diamond. What on earth does 1 diamond mean? Well, we're going to be looking at it, but what it actually means, 1 diamond, is it's saying, partner, diamonds are my longest suit. I have certain amount of strength in my hand. What do we mean by strength? What we mean is we've got some aces or kings or queens or jacks. We've got some decent picture cards in our hand. And we're going to be looking how we measure that in a second. So do you see the conversation therefore has started? 1 diamond. Partner, you've got your transmitter out. Your transmitter is transmitting to your partner. Partner, this is my longest suit. Diamonds is my longest suit. And I've got the minimum amount of strength to open the bidding. And partner receives that in their dish. And then when it comes round to them, they are able to get their transmitter out and make a bid that transmits some information to you. They might go, this person might have an awful hand, they just pass, which you're allowed to do, and they might go 1 heart. And so, partner, diamonds is my longest suit, I've got a certain amount of partner, hearts is my best suit, and I've got a certain number of strength in my hand as well. And so this is what's called the bidding process. Now, can I take you back to what I was saying about the hierarchy? The hierarchy of suits. Remember, clubs is the lowest one, diamonds, hearts, and spades. Now, this is where the hierarchy comes in, because let's say you've opened the bidding 1 diamond, and when it gets around to partner, they want to answer you and tell you what their longest suit is. And let's say it's clubs. Okay, so you've opened this suit here, diamonds, and they now want to say that they've got clubs. Well, think of it as, and it's referred to as an auction. This is an auction. So you've got 1 diamond and they want to bid clubs. But clubs is a lower ranking suit than diamonds, and therefore they can't go 1 club because that's taking the auction down. If you go to a car auction, you don't go up £500, the next person goes 300. Yeah, you don't. You have to go upwards, and therefore, if you wanted to bid clubs after diamonds, you would have to go up 1, and therefore you would bid 2 clubs. And I'm just really giving this example. I appreciate you wouldn't have a clue what that means, all that, but it's trying to, because it catches a few people out the auction system there. Okay, any questions on that? Please don't be shy to ask questions, plenty of time. Okay, well, the next bit is very important. So, there we are, we're sitting at the table, the hand is dealt, and we pick our cards up, and we divide it into suits. If you're playing online, the computer does it all for you, and it's all very nice. But if you're playing around a table, you have to just divide it into 4 suits. It's usually good practice to go black, red, in the 4 suits, because then you're unlikely to mix 2 suits up. It's not essential, but most people do that. And so it's your turn to open the bidding. So it's you to go first. The big question is, how do I know whether my hand is strong enough to open the bidding? Good question, if you think about it, doesn't it? Because if you've got an awful hand, no big cards at all, you don't really want to get involved in the auction, because you're sort of committing to things in the auction. So how do you know you're strong enough to open the auction? Well, this is where this thing called hand evaluation comes in. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it's actually a good name, really. You are evaluating the strength of your hand. And some very bright person many moons ago brought out this very simple system. I don't use the word simple much in bridge, but it's a great way, and no one's found a better way in whatever 80 odd years. An ace is great. It's really good to have an ace. That's the card we want lots of. Ace. We give it 4 points, 4 imaginary points. A king. We give that 3 points. A queen, we give 2, and a jack, we give 1. So it doesn't get much more simple than that, does it? I don't. I come from Sheffield, so we like simple things. So an ace is 4, king is 3, queen is 2, jack is 1. So what? Okay. If you are opening the bidding, if you've got 12 or more of these points, and what do we call these points? We call these high card points, which isn't a bad name if you think about it, because they are points, and they are the points from high cards. So it's a very clever name, really. So you add your high card points up. This is the first thing you do after you've divided your cards into 4 suits. Count your high card points. And if it comes to 12 or more, you need to be telling your partner that you've got a decent hand, 12 or more high card points. And that is the green light for opening the bidding. 12 or more high card points. Now, we will learn later on that sometimes we open the bidding with less than 12 high card points. So if you disappear to you and you're there having a drink with your friends who play bridge and they go, "What's he telling you?" Yes, you will learn in the future that sometimes we open with less than 12, but please promise me, for the sake of this course, we need 12 to open the bidding. So we make one of these bids. So we might go 1 hop. So what does your partner now know by you bidding 1 heart? They know that hearts is your longest suit. They know that you've got at least 12 high card points. So your transmitter has transmitted some pretty important information over to your partner. And they will then respond to you with an appropriate bridge, which we'll be learning over the course of the next few weeks. Okay, hand evaluation, really important, that, guys. So any questions on that one? Now, something else that needs covering is what do we mean by 1 heart, 2 hearts, 3 hearts, 4 hearts, 5 hearts, 6 hearts, 7 hearts even. Those are all possible bits, but what do they mean? Well, when you're at the 1 level, what that means is if you bid 1 heart and the next 3 people all pass because they haven't got good high card points, you know, they haven't got very good hands, you've maybe got quite a lot of points, high card points, and if they all pass and your contract is left as 1 heart, 1 level means that you are contracting for 7 tricks. So if the final contract ends up as 1 heart, 1 spade, 1 club, 1 diamond, it means you have got to get 7 tricks out of the 13 on offer. If the bidding has gone up, the auction has gone up, and you're actually now at the 2 level, so you know maybe the final contract is 2 hearts. What that means is you've got to get 8 tricks. If the bidding has reached the 3 level, you know, it might be a no trumps contract. It doesn't matter, but the 3 level means woo, we've got to get 9 tricks to make our contract, and so on. So 4 is 10, and 5 is 11. 6 and 7 are what are called slams. You are bidding slam, and that means you've got to get 12 tricks or 13 tricks. And if you bid it and you make it, you get bucket loads of points for doing that. And that's the sort of holy grail of bridge. Okay, now someone with a very good sense of humor many years ago developed the bridge scoring system. And I don't know if any of you have tried to look at it, but you probably ended up reaching for large quantities of alcohol or whatever, because it does look a bit strange, to say the least. Now, there's 2 trains of thought on this. Some people I know in bridge who are very good players, very good teachers, they think it's absolutely vital that you master understanding the scoring very early in the teaching. Others think, to be honest, you've got so many things going through your head to learn that actually we can put the scoring to one side. I suppose I'm, without being a wimp, I'm sort of a bit both. I think you should know something, but I don't think it's essential you pore over these notes and work out how to score. I don't think it's essential. But there's 1 or 2 things that I think are very important. I mentioned earlier that there are major suits and there are minor suits. And so remember, spades and hearts are majors, diamonds and clubs are minors. The one thing really after tonight, all I really want you to do is realize that the scoring is better for majors than it is for minors. And the thing is that in effect, spade tricks are worth 30. The majors are worth 30 and the minors are worth 20. But what does that mean? Okay, it's a bit odd, this. I think it's a bit odd. You don't score anything for achieving the first 6 tricks. So you might be in a contract of, say, 2 hearts. How many tricks do you need for 2 hearts? 8, yeah? Do you remember? 7 is 1, 8 is 2, 9 is 3. So you don't score anything for the first 6 tricks you make, but the 7th trick will, if you're in hearts, so this is a major, hearts or spades, the 7th trick will earn you 30 points. The 8th trick will earn you 30 points. The 9th trick will, and so on. So you get 30 points for every trick over 6. And so if we think about this, 7 is the 1 level, isn't it? So that's 1 heart, 2 hearts, 3 hearts, and 4 hearts. So your contract is, say, 3 hearts. You are contracted to make 9 tricks. And let's say you achieve 9 tricks. So your score will be 30, 30, and 30. So you will make 90 points for making 3 spades. If you ended up making 10 tricks, you actually contracted for 9, but you made 10, you would actually get that extra 30 as well. So you would get 120. But if you get it exactly, you would score 90. Is it as simple as that? Don't be silly. It never is in bridge. So you get your 90 for making your 9 tricks. But also, because you've been a good person and you've made your contract, you have made the number of tricks you contracted to make. You get what's called a part score bonus, and therefore you would get an extra 50 points for being a good person for making your contract. So 3 hearts achieved would make 90 plus 50, 140. Now, is it as simple as that? No, because if it was as simple as that, you'd never actually bid any higher than 1 heart if you didn't have to, would you? You would just go 1 heart and make, 10, 11, 12, 13 tricks. So there must be something else to it than this. I'll just explain this and then I'll come to you with questions, because you may well have some, I suspect. And this is where I want to introduce you to the concept of game. Nothing to do with bridge being a game. It's a different meaning of game. What we're always trying to do in bridge is to bid game. What does that mean? Bid game means we're trying to bid something that is going to produce 100 or more scoring points. So in the example we used here, 3 hearts, is that going to produce 100 points, not including the bonus? Well, no, it's not, because bidding 3 spades will only produce 90 high card points because you bid it, and therefore you'll get 90 points for making it. So bidding game means you bid something that is going to earn 100 points or more. And so what would that be in a major suit? If you bid 1, you'll get 30. If you bid 2, you'll get 60. 3, you'll get 90, still not 100. But if you bid 4 hearts, so you are saying we are going to make 10 tricks with hearts as trumps. That would get you 120, and therefore that is a game contract. You have bid a game contract. So what? Well, if you bid a game contract and you make it, so you bid your 4 hearts for 10 tricks and you make the 10 tricks or more, then you get a big, big Brucey bonus, and you get a bonus of at least 300 points. You know, and if you're playing £10 a point with your neighbor who's new to the game, you know, this could be life-changing. So, so what we're always trying to do is bid game. So 4 of a major is a game bid, a game contract, because it's producing over 100 or more points. But what about minor suits? Do you remember we said that minor suits don't give you 30 scoring points per trick over 6. They only give 20. And therefore, bidding 1 club or 1 diamond, you need 7 tricks, 20, 20, 20, 20. So if you bid 1 club, you're going to get 20 points. 2 clubs and make it 40, 60, 80. Oh! So you need to bid 5 of a minor. 11 tricks you need to produce the 100 points for game. And so 5 clubs or diamonds, that would produce 100. So that is a game contract. And therefore, if you bid 5 clubs or you bid 5 diamonds, you would have to make 11 tricks. And then you would achieve game, you'd make your 100 points, but then you would also get the bonus. And just for completeness, before I come to you, what about no trumps? Well, no trumps is a funny one. It's a funny one because no trumps is a little bit different in that 1 no trump, 7 tricks, 2, 3, 4, you actually get 40 points for the first trick, and then 30 for everyone after that. And therefore, how many no trumps would you have to bid to be 100? 1 no trump would be 40, 2 no trumps would be 70. 3 no trumps, 9 tricks would produce 100, which is going to get you your bonus. So just to recap that, to bid game in a major would have to be at the 4 level, 4 hearts or 4 spades, which is 10 tricks. If you bid game in a minor, it would have to be the 5 level, 11 tricks, or if you bid game in no trumps, it's 3 no trumps, which is 9 tricks. And if you're absolutely new to that, and you haven't had a chance to read the notes, and you understand that, you're a better person than me, I'll tell you. So don't worry if you're utterly confused, because everyone is when they first look at bridge scoring. But questions, please. Please unmute and ask. Now, either your unmute buttons aren't working, or else you are geniuses. I've got a class of genius. I've always dreamt of this moment. Or am I explaining it so well?
I'll just interject there, Chris. It's Jill.
Yeah.
Having come to this for the second time, that now actually makes sense.
Yeah, good.
So that really supports what you're saying, doesn't it?
Good, yeah. But as I say, please don't worry, everyone. We've got lots of other fish to fry other than understanding the scoring. But
Could I possibly declare myself as not a genius? I was wondering, when you said you get the part score bonus for achieving contract of 50 points, is that for achieving spot on or achieving and possibly surpassing?
Yeah, a good question, Lawrence. Yeah, yes, you get the bonus, whether it's the game bonus, the really juicy one, the 300, or the part score bonus. You get the part score bonus if you haven't bid game, you've bid less than game. You get that bonus whether you hit it exactly or exceed it. Or exceed it, yeah, absolutely. It can't be taken away as long as you make it. Okay, well, there's one last thing before we probably need a good lie down, have a little weep, open a bottle of scotch, whatever this. I tend to find these things work. One thing, again, this is pretty important, and then we'll be looking at some examples after the break. So we're looking at this Holy Grail. We're really hoping, my partner and I, we're really hoping we can bid game in something, because this is going to get us lots and lots of points. So say we hoping to bid 3 no trumps. How strong does our hand need to be between us, because they've got 13 cards, I've got 13 cards. How strong do we need to be to have a fighting chance of making 9 tricks? Because there's always 13 tricks to play for. So if you're going to win 9, it means you've got to restrict your opponents to winning 4 or less. Yeah. So you've got to win 9 out of 13. So how many high card points do we need between the two of us together to achieve game, to be confident to bid game? Now let's think of these high card points things again. We said ace is 4, king is 3, queen is 2, jack is 1. So that means that each of the 4 players, on average, has got 10 high card points in their hand. Yeah. So in a pack of cards, there's 4 aces, there's 4 kings, unless you've got a very strange pack of cards, 4 queens, and 4 jacks. So there's 4 of each. They're worth 4 each, so that's 16 high card points in aces. 4 3s are 12, 4 2s are 8, 4 1s are 4. So what does that all add up to? Okay, that's a very important number. There are 40 high card points in every pack of cards. So how many high card points should we have between us to have a good chance of making 9 tricks? And you'll be delighted that the answer is quite a nice, easy, round number to remember. And the answer is 25. You ought to know through the bidding system, finding out information from your partner, you should be confident that between the two of you, you have got at least 25 high card points. And if you have, then you should be able to confidently bid 3 no trumps, as long as other things are fulfilled, which we'll be looking at ad nauseum. What about if you want to try and bid a game in a major, 4 hearts or 4 spades? So you've got to win 10 tricks. How many points? Well, again, you'll be delighted to know that it's the same as no trumps. So again, what we need to know is we've got around 25 plus high card points between us, because if we've got 25, it means our opponents have only got 15, which means we've got sufficient control over the cards to be able to make this reasonably substantial amount of trick. Now you might think, well, that's a bit odd. That's a bit odd. Why is it the same number of points when there's actually one more trick you need? So why is it 25 for both? And the answer to that is that we would only bid in a suit contract in the major here if we know we've got a certain number of trumps between us. So for example, if we went 4 hearts and we decided we wanted to play in hearts, we should know that we've got what's called a fit. A fit. What does a fit mean? It means we've got a dominant suit between us, and a fit means that we've got at least 8 cards in a suit. So a fit means through the bidding, we've realized we've got at least 8 cards in a suit. If we have got that sort of dominant suit situation, that would lead us to want to play in a suit contract. If we haven't got a fit, if we haven't got a suit where we've got 8 cards between us, we haven't got a fit, we would almost certainly end up bidding a no trumps contract, because there's no point playing in a suit contract because we haven't got a dominant suit. So just back to this, why do we need the same number of points to get 10 tricks in a suit contract here, and as for 9 tricks in no trumps? And the answer is because we've got this nice situation of having at least 8 trumps between us. Ooh, that is so good that it will produce an extra trick somewhere along the road, and that's why you don't need quite as many high card points, because of the suit situation. And just to finish off, if you wanted to bid game in a minor, which really we don't try and do usually, we usually much rather do no trumps than a minor, but we need 11 tricks to do that, so that's pretty darn tough. Now, because we need 11 tricks as opposed to 10 appear in a suit contract, we need more points, and therefore we're looking at probably needing something around 27 28 high card points to justify bidding game to make 11 tricks. Okay, I'll tell you what, that was a lot of listening. As I say, it's not normally me droning on like this quite as much. Let's have a break. It's bang on past. I'll answer any questions. I'll leave that on the board so we can resume. So it's past now. Could we start, please, at 8:40, please? 8:40. Thanks. Right, welcome back, everyone. By Jove, hope you had a good lie down. Nice cold flannel on the forehead. Lovely, isn't it? Okay, questions on anything we did before the break, please. Okay, well, I hope that means that you've got a grasp. As I say, for goodness sake, you will notice over the coming weeks, your life will change. You will find that you can't sleep, you're being unusually unpleasant to animals and small children. All sorts of strange things happen when you're learning bridge. A red mist comes over and you're not supposed to understand it all, I promise you. No one does for many months when you first start learning bridge. So you know, but it is intoxicating, it really is. Okay, so let's pick out the highlights, hopefully, of what I said before the break. The thing I really want you to just try and grasp, how do we win the game of bridge? We win by getting points, more points than our opponents. How do we get points? We get points in two ways. One is by bidding and making our own contract, a certain number of tricks, whether it be in trumps or no trumps. The other way to make points is by defeating our opponent's contract. So, you know, they could bid for spades, needing 10 tricks, and because of our brilliant defensive play, they only make 9 or 8, and therefore we get points for them failing in their mission there. The other things I'd like you to remember is this thing, the concept of the fit. So do we play in a suit contract or do we play in no trumps? And generally speaking, if we've got a fit, which is 8 cards at least between us in one suit, ideally a major, we will play in the suit contract. If we haven't got a fit, we will play in no trumps. That's the starting point. How many high card points do we need? We need 12 points at least to open the bidding. And in terms of bidding to game, the Holy Grail, then we need something like 25 plus points. So if you can just remember those things, then I'll tell you, you're on your way to being a very good bridge player. So let's quickly talk about the process of the play once we actually get going. So the bidding happens, and we're not going to really talk about the bidding tonight because we'll have 3 months at it. The bidding happens and we end up with a contract. And let's suppose we've ended up winning the auction and we're in a contract of 3 no trumps. How many tricks do we need to win? You know that. 9 tricks. So we need to make 9 tricks and there ain't no trumps. So this is the bit I find intoxicating, which is the drama of each game of bridge. It's like being in a play, actually, and you've all got different parts, and each act, your part usually changes, and that's what makes it so all-consuming, I think. So we've won the contract, and this is a funny one. We now have some strange names, and one of them is Declarer. My partner and I have won the contract, and I am Declarer. But why am I Declarer, not my partner? The Declarer is the one who made the bid of no trumps first in the auction. So I might have gone 1 no trump, my partner might have gone 2 no trumps, and I go 3 no trumps. So that's the final contract, and I bid it first, and therefore that's why I am the declarer. But what's a declarer? Well, the declarer is the one that plays the cards. You are in the driving seat for your team as declarer, and that'll become obvious in a minute. So you are declarer. Your partner, it's a great name, this. Your partner's the dummy. Great. And they don't do anything. So this isn't a particularly good part. It's like the parts I used to be given in school plays, really. You do absolutely nothing. The dummy just sits there, really, and plays the cards for the declarer when asked. Now, these two people here, they've got a name as well. And they are the opponents, but also, I guess, they are they're the defenders as well. So the declarer and the two defenders. So the game starts. The lights come down. And if this person here is the declarer, it's always the person to their left who plays the first card, which is called the opening lead. They lead a card. So the defender here puts a card on the table, and then your partner, dummy, very solemnly puts the cards down on the table, face up. So the declarer sees the cards, and the defenders also see the cards as well, which is pretty unique in a card game, if you think about it. So the declarer is now in charge of things. The card goes down, and then the game continues. And the declarer is now trying to make the 9 tricks by playing the cards appropriately. Now, something that happens with most new players is, because this is so unusual, that these cards over here are open to everyone. It's very easy to be sitting there as declarer thinking of, these are my cards and that's dummy's cards. It's more of a mental thing, really. They are not your cards and dummy's cards. They're all your cards. They're all your cards. And so try and get into that thinking mode straight away. The dummy is just an extension of you. And we're going to be looking in a second of how this works in practice. So I'm just going to sort of give you the language, really. And so the game commences. So let's look at it in action. Any questions on that? Okay, well, this is where I need some of you to be involved. So I'm looking for volunteers. So I'll share my screen with you. Oh, this is the bit, I love this bit. So, okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Okay. You should now be looking at something that resembles a pack of cards or a hand of cards. Now, this is a website that is called BBO, Bridge Base Online. And basically the entire world's playing. I mean, there's just hundreds of thousands of people will be playing right now worldwide. You know, you can sit down and play with people from other countries and everything. I won't go into it in massive detail because obviously at your stage of development, it's probably a step too fast to start playing on this at the moment until we know how to do the bidding, but it'll give you an idea. So do you see here, we've got a south and we've got a north. They are partners. You've got a west and an east. They are partners. So they've all been dealt their hands. And if we were playing properly on here, then you would only be able to see your own cards. Okay, so in fact, if I'm very clever, I can actually demonstrate that. So right, it's not worth it. So, but if you were playing, you just log in, you sit yourself at a certain seat, say south. Your partner sits down, logs in, sits down in north, and then your opponents are obviously east and west. You can only see your own cards. Now, what does this yellow bar mean here? The yellow bar basically means that it's your turn to do something. And so in this situation, the yellow bar means it is the first turn of south to make a bid, if they find it appropriate to make a bid, if they've got enough high card points. And funnily enough, they have actually. How many high card points here? Let's count them. 4, 7, 2 for a queen, 9, 3 for a king, 12, 2 for a queen. So they've got 14 high card points, and therefore they would open the bidding. And we'll be looking at what would you open from next week. We start on it exactly that bid, actually, the one there that's appropriate here. Now, because we don't know how to bid, we're going to have a little game without the bidding, and it's called mini bridge, and it's very popular in schools and what have you now. So it's the bridge without the bidding, basically. So what I'd like is a player to occupy each of these. So could I have a volunteer, please, to play in one of these positions, please?
I'll play, Chris.
Yep. Who's that?
Claire.
Well done, Claire. Claire. Okay. Could you be south? That's great.
Yep.
Or west, please.
Shall I be south? South.
South. You be south.
Yep.
I'll do west.
Who's that? Sorry.
Mike.
Mike. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, just shout your name out. North, please.
Yeah, I'll do north, Kathy.
Thanks, Kathy. And east. Come on, there might be a prize here for volunteering.
I'll do east. It's Helen.
Thanks, Helen. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Right, so Claire is south, Mike is west, Kathy is north, and Helen is east. Okay, now you've got to help me here. Don't look at each other's hands, because obviously you wouldn't be able to see them normally. So only look at your own hand. So Helen, what's the first thing we do when we pick up our hand after putting them into 4 suits? What do we count?
The high cards.
Very, very good. We count our high card points. So 4 for an ace, 3 for a king, 2 for a queen, 1 for a jack. If you all now count your points, don't say anything yet, but just count your points. And everyone else just practice, see if they've done it right. So Mike, how many high card points have you got?
Sorry, 7.
Thanks, Mike. Right, 7. That shouldn't take you long with that. No, it was 7. Excellent. Kathy, how many have you got?
12.
12. Good. Helen, east.
7.
7. And Claire, please.
14.
14. Now, how can we work out whether everyone's counted their points correctly or not?
Get the total to 40.
Very good. And does it come to 40? 14, add 7, add 7, add 12. Looks pretty good to me, that actually, so well done. You're the first group who've ever done that correctly, believe it or not. Well done. Excellent. So everyone's, I'll call you South and West and North now, rather than your name, because otherwise people don't know who I'm talking to. If I say, right, it's Mike to lead, everyone thinks, well, where's Mike sitting? So, okay, so we've got 40 high card points. And the way mini bridge works is that the pair that have got the most high card points will be the declarer, that they will play the contract. So South and North have got 14 and 12 respectively, and therefore it's 26. And West and East, Mike and Helen, have only got 14. So North and South will play the contract, and the declarer in mini bridge will be the one who's got the most high card points of the two, which is Claire. South has got 14 points. So Claire, you are declarer in South, and now you are allowed to now look at Dummy, your partner in North. And so how many high card points have you got in total?
26.
26. Okay, now you need to basically bid a contract, make a statement and say, are you going to play in no trumps, or are you going to play in a suit contract? And after that, how many tricks are you going to contract for? So first of all, do you think you should play in no trumps or in a suit contract?
I think as I've got less than 8 in a suit, my best suit is spades and I've only got 7. So going on what you said, I think that means I have to go no trumps, doesn't it?
Very good. So you haven't got a fit. You haven't got a fit because you need 8 cards. Fantastic. So you haven't got a dominant suit. So first decision made, you're going to play in no trumps.
Yeah.
Second decision, how many tricks are you going to contract for?
Is it 9? So that is it 3?
Very good, because do you remember game contract? What's the game contract bid here?
25.
Yeah, it's 3 no trumps, isn't it? And to have a fighting chance of 3 no trumps, you need to have the 25 points between you. And of course you've got 26. And therefore, all of the things being equal, you've got more than a fighting chance of making your 9 tricks. So you would boldly go for 3 no trumps. Now, you wouldn't bid it this way normally, it's because we're not doing the bidding, but you would put 3 no trumps down on the mini bridge. So the contract is 3 no trumps. South is the declarer. Sorry, Kathy, but you're dummy, so you haven't got a lot to do, I'm afraid. West, of course, now has a yellow light showing because, do you remember, it's the person to declare as left who makes the opening lead, and therefore we're now going to sort of look at a game. I'm obviously going to help you because I've given you no help on how to play a hand in bridge. Any questions from anyone so far? Okay, you'll notice all sorts of fantastic things about this website, by the way. You'll see up here where my cursor is, you can always remind yourself what the contract is. It's 3 no trumps by South. South is the declarer, in other words. And this 0-0 here, it's not the football scores, it's who's got so many tricks so far. And obviously it's 0-0 because we haven't started yet, but you'll notice that going up. Also, there's all sorts of other things as well, but I won't confuse matters. And so, Mike, you are West, so you've got to make an opening lead, and we will be learning in the course of the next 3 or 4 weeks about which cards to lead and things, but you always lead, virtually always lead your longest suit to no trumps so that your partner knows what your longest suit is. And so I'm not going to be too serious about the play, but just choose a card to lead, Mike. It doesn't really matter. Mike, you there?
Yeah, so sorry. So I would normally lead a heart then, would I?
Yes, you'd lead your longest suit. And actually, when you've got a high sequence, as this is called, of 3 cards, Jack 10, you would actually lead the top of the sequence. So
Okay, so that would be that Jack.
Jack of hearts, okay. So West has led the Jack of hearts. And now, of course, this is a bit odd because it looks like North is where Kathy's sitting. North is going to have to play a card. But of course, Claire in South is totally in charge now. So it's up to Claire to play a card from dummy.
So I could play it, ace or king.
You could play the ace or king, or of course, remember, you've got the queen there in your own hand.
Yeah.
And therefore, if you played the 2, when it comes round to you, you're bound to win the trick using a card from your own hand. So you've got a choice of ace, king, or queen.
Yeah, well, I'd play the queen. Well, if I wanted to keep everybody guessing, well, it wouldn't matter because if I played the queen, everybody would know that I had control of the ace and king because I wouldn't gamble it, would I?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I'd probably just play the queen.
Okay. So we'll play the 2 from dummy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You haven't got much of a choice there, Helen, I'm afraid.
I think I'll play the 4.
Yeah. Funnily enough, we will be learning in step 4 all sorts of ways to give little signals to your partner. And for example, with this, actually, when you've got 2 cards, you would play the higher one first so that your partner will see that you've only got 2 cards. But that is a long way into the distance. So great. And then Claire?
I play the queen.
Yes, you're going to win the trick with the queen. And you'll notice here up here, do you see the score is now 1-0. So it's showing that North-South has got 1 trick. Now, Claire, if you want my opinion, we're going to be doing this in 2 weeks' time or 3 weeks' time. We're going to be looking at how to plan a hand. What we all tend to do as beginners is we all lead our top cards out. So we go ace, king, ace, king, ace, king. We lead all this, to be honest, is the last thing we should do. What we do is we look for a suit where we can, as we call, establish tricks. And so we're looking for a suit which, once we've fished out 1 or 2 of the big cards, it means we're going to end up with some winning cards in that suit. Can you see a suit that fits the bill there? That we fish out their big cards, and then we will end up making a trick or 2 ourselves.
So diamond.
Very good. Yeah, diamonds is fantastic because you've got the queen, jack, 10, 9, 8. So you're missing the ace and the king. And so what we do is we just lead that suit and fish out the king, fish out the ace, and then the ones we've got left will win us 2 extra tricks. So that would be my advice, but it's you to play the card.
So I'm just wondering if
now, you won the trick in your own hand with the queen, so the lead comes from your own hand now. If you'd won the trick with your ace, the lead comes from dummy. So you just need to play a card from your own hand.
So would I play? I don't think I'd play the queen. Would I play the queen of diamonds?
Well, in this example, it doesn't actually matter which one you play because the 8, 9, 10, jack, queen are all touching cards, and therefore they're all the same value, basically.
So yes, I'd play the queen to
very good.
Flush out the king and the ace.
Okay, Mike in West.
I would probably play the ace then, wouldn't I?
Okay, yeah, we'll learn. As I say, there's no reason why you should know what to do here. And then Claire, you just put one of those on. They're all the same value, aren't they? So it doesn't matter which one you put on, actually. So good. And then Helen?
Play the 2.
You just play the 2. You're winning the trick, aren't you? Yeah. Good. Okay, so Mike won the trick with the ace. So it's Mike's lead now. And generally speaking, remember, you can't see the other cards apart from dummy. Generally speaking, you're better off just plugging away with your long suit.
Okay, so
Sorry, I can't hear you, Mike. Sorry.
sorry, then I suppose I would lose. You go for the 10 of hearts again.
Yeah, if you just do, you're just trying to fish their big cards out, and they're trying to fish yours out. It's cat and mouse, isn't it?
So 5 of hearts.
You don't really get a choice there, Helen, do you? So good. Okay, so Claire will put that one on, and just keep plugging away.
Got 9 of diamonds.
Good. Okay, so we're going to go fishing. Helen in East.
The king.
You'll win the king. Okay,
3.
one of those from your own hand, and then Mike's got to put his 5 on.
5.
Now, in this sort of situation, as I say, we're going to be spending a lot of time looking at this, so I'm just trying to use this purely as a demonstration. East would now try and lead back their partner's long suit, but as it happens, East hasn't got any hearts at all, so you just need to lead one of your suits, Helen, and it would normally be your longest suit.
So Queen of Spades.
Yeah, you could lead the Queen. It would be normal actually to lead the lower one, actually 4th highest. So if I may just overrule you slightly there, but lead the 5. So Claire in South.
I'd probably lead the king. I'd want to make sure I got it.
You just play the king. There's no reason not to. Good. Mike.
I would play the 9.
Just put the 9 on, and then
And
Claire.
the 4, the 3.
And now, do you see what's happened now? Because of Claire's outstanding play, she's now in a position that she's made the Jack and the 10 into winning cards. And so South has got 3 tricks so far, and they've got 1, 2, 3 aces, the King of Clubs, so that's 4 tricks, and then the Jack and the 10 of diamonds that are now winners. So you've got 6 winning tricks now, and you've already got 3. How many do you need for your contract?
9.
9. So your contract is safe now, and so you just lead out your big cards now. So the lead is in your own hand.
Ace of Spades.
So you can just go for it now and just don't lose the lead, or else you could lose some heart tricks. Mike hasn't got a choice. He's got to put his Jack on.
4.
Queen.
Well, you're losing to the ace, Helen. The ace is already put down by Claire, so you don't really want to put your queen underneath an ace, do you?
No, so the 6.
Yeah, so because you can't, there's no point sacrificing your queen, so hang on to your queen and just put the 6 on. Yeah. Okay, Claire.
King of Clubs.
Good. King of Clubs.
2 of clubs.
5 of Clubs.
4 of clubs.
Yeah, good, Helen. Excellent.
So I have to lead from my own hand again, don't I?
Yes, so the lead's in your hand now.
8 of Hearts.
Yep.
3 of hearts.
Ace.
Now this is tricky, isn't it? That you've got to start throwing away a card now because you can't follow suit. But you know that those 2 diamonds there in dummy are winning cards. So I don't think you're going to be needing your diamonds, Helen, are you? So
6 of diamonds.
might as well just throw a diamond away. Yeah. Claire?
So the ace came from the dummy, didn't it?
The ace of hearts from dummy, yep.
So I may as well just go Ace of Clubs.
Ace of clubs,
A 10 of clubs.
good.
6.
3.
Claire?
sorry, that new hand, 4 of diamonds.
Yes, the lead's in dummy, isn't it? Because your ace of clubs won it from
Right,
dummy.
sorry, so I'd go 10 of diamonds then.
Yeah, so these 2 diamonds are, and then so you know you're going to win 2 more tricks, and you know you're going to lose the last 3 really. So just for the purposes of saving time, what you can do when you know you're going to sort of win a certain, you can do this thing called claim here. So if you put claim in and just claim 2 extra tricks, then it means that they close the game. And so you have made 9 tricks, which is the game contract of 3 no trumps. Now let's think about this. Why have you scored? Why this? I won't bore you with what. Why have you scored 400 points for that?
Because I've scored 100 for my 3, 40, 40, 30, 30,
Good.
and then I've scored 300.
Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. So you've gone 40, 30, 30 because it's no trumps, which is 100 points. But because you've bid and made game, you get the 300 bonus as well. And that's why you've made 400 points. Fantastic. Okay. Questions, please, anyone? Does that make sense?
I think it's more difficult when you're actually playing. You have got so many things to think about, haven't you? It's more difficult than what you what you think, but it's difficult.
You did very well, and that's why I'm now going to show you this wonderful world, which you will possibly become addicted to. Okay, I'm going to change my screen share, and I am going to do this. Okay. Welcome to the wonderful world of No Fear Bridge, which hopefully you've all managed to sign up on the 3-month free trial. If you haven't, don't worry, because we won't really be using it tonight. But I just want to show you, and for those of you that are happy to do so, to give you a bit of homework. I mean, obviously, you must do what you want to do, but this isn't a game to try and learn just by turning up once a week and listening to me spout on. You do need to put some effort in your own time if you want to become a good bridge player. So this is the main page of No Fear Bridge, which you may have had a tentative peek at already. It looks a bit busy, but don't be sort of scared of it. It will become pretty obvious to you. Now, one bit of homework that I think would be very useful to you is you see this thing here, tutorials. Just make a note of this, but if you click into tutorials, there's this one here, which is level 0, which they could have called it something else, couldn't they? Level 0. This aims of the bidding, I think, is a really good one. I wouldn't go beyond that, although they do mini bridge here, so if you want to have a look at that, that's fine. I wouldn't go into the introduction to the bidding yet, because that's what we're going to be doing next week, but it's entirely up to you. But aims of the bidding, I'd like you to do that. Now, this is the one that I'd like you to really focus on. See this here, play hands. Something Claire just said is absolutely right. When you are thrown in as declarer to start off with, I'll tell you, it is like someone's whacked you over the back of the head with a saucepan. You really can be a rabbit in the headlights. And this section of No Fear Bridge just simulates you being the declarer, and you won't have me growling over your shoulder either. And therefore, the more hands you can play on this, the better. It's fantastic for developing your card play. And so what you do is you click into play hands, and it comes up with this screen here. And the sort of easier hands are in this level 1, and then you get into level 2 and level 3, and there's a level 4 in it, which is sort of hidden from people because it is pretty hairy. And so unless you think otherwise, just start on the level 1 and then just click into them. And I just want to focus on this first section. So play hands, level 1, promoting. And so you just click into promoting. And then there's a drop-down menu here. There's a drop-down menu which shows you all the promoting hands that they've got in this section. So let's have a look what the first hand is. So I'm just going to click on the very first hand, 93. Now that is a 6-no trump hand, so I'd rather get a more realistic one. Okay. So all we've done is clicked into play hands, clicked on promoting, and then clicked on the second hand down, which is 95. And I think this is brilliant because it gives you the practice of being the declarer. So you are down here in South, if you like. You're down here in South. These are your cards here. So high card points, you've got 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 high card points. What have we got over here? Dummy's got 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13 high card points. So you haven't got a dominant suit, you haven't got a fit. And so what contract do you think this pair ended up in? And lo and behold, they are in 3 no trumps. Yeah, so 3 no trumps by South. They've got 27 points between them. And in fact, up here on the right-hand side, you can see how the bidding went. Now, don't worry too much about it because we will be doing this next week, so don't confuse yourself with that. And so how does No Fear Bridge work? Well, could I ask for another volunteer, please, to help me? Just one person, please.
I'll do it if you like, Chris. It's Jill.
Jill, thanks, Jill. Right, Jill, you are the declarer. And what's this card doing in the middle? This card has been played by your opponent, right? Remember, the opening lead comes from the left-hand side of the declarer. So your opponent, Jill, has led the Jack of Spades, and you now need to make 9 tricks. And therefore, the way we do it on No Fear Bridge is if we want to play a card, we click it. So if you wanted to put the queen on, you would click the queen and then it goes onto the table. The computer then plays the 7 and then you would click the card again for that. Now, just a word of warning, but if your opponent wins the lead, and it's, so let's just lose the lead deliberately. This isn't what I'm going to do, but let's just play a club. Right, we've lost the lead. So it's your opponent's to play now. When you're playing on No Fear Bridge, you could sit here for 3 weeks now and nothing would happen. You would still be looking at those cards. You must instigate your opponent's playing a card. And all we do is, see this box in the middle here, we just click on it. I only say this because there was someone in a class a couple of months ago who played all these without, and the game ended when they lost the lead because they didn't know how, they couldn't understand why the opponents weren't playing a card. So all you do is click. So I'm just going to click in the box here and then the lead comes in from west. So, Jill, having brought you in, I've got an idea. We've got 10 minutes left. For those of you that are on No Fear Bridge, if you can manage to navigate yourself to this place, so I'll just go back for a second. So if you can navigate here, so if you've logged into No Fear Bridge, don't worry if you haven't, because I'll be doing it anyway, but click on Play Hands. And then we're going to go to Promoting Level 1. And then the drop-down menu, we're going to go to 95, the second one down. And then click Start. And we're back to where we are. Jill, are you on No Fear Bridge or not?
I am, but I've got a separate device.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, in that case, rather than joining me here, I'd rather you all had a go at this yourself. For those of you that, for those of you that haven't managed to get on yet, don't worry. I'm now going to play the hand. So have a go. Don't worry, because I've given you no guidance at all on how to play a hand, other than, can I give you a tip on this hand? Remember, what we don't really do hardly ever is start playing our big card straight away. Yes, you need to win the first trick, so you could put your ace on or something on this. So you have to win the first trick. But then what you're doing is you're looking for a suit where you can fish the big cards out from your opponents. And once you've fished one or two big cards out, you can then what we call establish a couple of tricks. So can you see a suit like that?
Mm.
And that is the suit to attack first. Play that suit first a couple of times to fish out the big cards. So have a go at it, and I'll slowly play it, very slowly play it, so that people who can't take part can just watch what's going on. So just have a go. Okay, I don't know whether you've managed to finish or not. If you're still going, I'm sorry, but I'll just interrupt because hopefully we need to get cracking. So hopefully, did anyone make the contract there? Did you make your 9 tricks?
I did.
Well done. Fantastic. You made your first contract, which is wonderful. Okay, so I hope you got the hang of that. For those of you that, if you didn't manage to play it because you haven't for some reason got on to No Fear Bridge, and you are utterly baffled, if you hang on at 9:30, we can just have a quick chat about it. But once you get used to it, I think it's relatively straightforward to do. It really is a fantastic to practice your play on, because when you get to the end here, if you've made a complete mess of it or whatever, if you just click here in show solution, by the way, just for a second, see 3 no trumps made, you've scored 400 on the same basis as before. Remember 9 tricks are 40, 30, 30, and then your bonus. Show me, what does that mean? Let's have a look. What does show me? Oh, look at that. That's clever. They've brought that in recently. So you've made 3 no trumps. So no score for the first 6 tricks. So you make one for the 7th trick, you make 40 points. And for the 2 subsequent tricks, 30 each, so 60. But then the game bonus on top, 30. Oh, I like that. It's good. So, but also then, if you have made a muck of it, you can see how to do it. I mean, I spent hours, I mean, I don't know whether it was hundreds of hours, but it must have been hundreds of hours playing this. And you must do what you want to do. But the way I did it is I used to play a hand, and if I got it wrong, I'd read the explanation, and then I'd immediately go back and play it a couple of times without looking at the solution. So that, and it really, really built my confidence. And then you gradually go through level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and you become a good bridge player. So as it says here, so we know we can win 7 tricks. We didn't get involved in the planning of it, but you've got aces and kings and queens. So you know you can win 7 tricks, but where are you going to get the extra 2 tricks from? And this is where this technique, which we'll be looking at in a couple of weeks' time, we establish a couple of extra tricks by just playing on the clubs. And as it says here, we just play on clubs so that we fish out the ace and the king, and this is where we get our extra 2 tricks from. So okay, any questions on that? Okay, guys, right, just quickly going back to the home page. I mean, I just don't want to baffle you because this is it really is a marathon, not a sprint. So, you know, don't ever feel totally overwhelmed. We're going to go at a very gentle pace to make sure we get there. So the play hand section really is the one I want you to do. If you start trying to get involved with the bidding, unless you've played before, I think it will be counterproductive. So just stay on the play hands. But as I say, I would like you to just try this tutorial, aims of the bidding. If we go into it, it looks a bit Janet and Johnish, but it's actually very, very good module, I think, for doing that. So, hey guys, right. Well, if there's any questions, I'll hang on now at 9:30. I'll be doing the questions clinic, assuming there are some questions. Sometimes I end up saying, look, there isn't going to be a questions clinic because there's no questions. And that sometimes happens in the first week because there's not actually that many things to ask questions on, perhaps. But you're very, very welcome to join in if I am running it. And if not, we'll start the bidding next week, 7:30, Tuesday evening. So thank you very much indeed. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris.
Chris.
See you guys.